Now enough participants have joined. So hello and Jai Bhim to everyone present here. My name is Mohit. I am a first year master's student at IIT Gandhinagar. Today we are meeting on a very auspicious occasion of the 132nd birth anniversary of Babasaheb Ambedkar. He has been a personality in India and abroad who has been a perennial source of inspiration for millions. His work had multi-dimension and he had many feathers in his cap. To explore many more, today we will be having a lecture with Professor Hemangi Kadlak. She is a Dr. Hemangi Kadlak is from India. She works as an assistant professor at the Department of Social Work, SNDT Women's University, Churchgate, Mumbai. She did her PhD at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. She presented research papers at different conferences conducted in India and abroad. She has widely published research papers on sanitation, community issues, and the youth of sanitation workers who are in higher education in several reputed journals and edited books both nationally and internationally. She also writes articles, poems. She is an advisory committee member for the project Global Advocacy for Health, Safety and Dignity of Workers and Sanitation, initiated by SNB, WaterAid, ILO, WHO, and World Bank. She has been honored with some awards. Her main areas of interest include gender, education, intergenerational mobility, and intersectionality. So for today, we will be talking about the perspectives of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar on women in particular. So Dr. Hemangi will be deliberating on Dr. Ambedkar's contribution to women's development. Dr. Ambedkar, according to her abstract, Dr. Ambedkar was a champion of women's rights and epistemologically proved the intersectionality of caste and gender. He argued that any progress in society depends on the progress of women. The talk further highlights the role of education, cultural capital, and women's economic empowerment for racial growth. The talk focuses on how we are going to carry forward the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar. So without any further ado, I would like to ask ma'am to please take over the lecture.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for the brief introduction. And thank you for inviting me for this occasion. And I'm really happy and feeling honored and pleased to be in front of you talking about Babasaheb. It's not only the kind of academic deliberation, but it's also kind of emotional uphels. It's a emotional touch whenever I talk about our forefathers. Maybe it is a Buddha or Mahatma Jyotirao Phule or Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. So first, I would like to introduce or start my talk giving the due recognition to our forefathers who contributed for our existence. As we see Dr. Ambedkar as a person, but Dr. Ambedkar has carried a legacy. When we talk about Dr. Ambedkar, he is not the individual person, but the thought, the charisma, the personality he is carrying, he has a legacy behind him. It's the legacy carries from Buddha, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, and Dr. Ambedkar. So these are the main kind of sources of inspiration. Like as he said, his gurus or his teachers, though they were not present when he was alive, still he considered Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Sant Kabir, and Buddha as his teachers. So, and this month is very important for us, as we call it, I call it as a month of revolutionaries. And on this occasion, because 11th of April is Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's birth anniversary, and 14th April is our forefather, that is Dr. Ambedkar's birth anniversary. So this whole period, and that's what we call this April month is very important for us. At very young age, when I read Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, I was very astonished by his thought and his deeds. And I don't know how many of you have read Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, but those who are not read, or those who are read, it's good. And those who are not read, please read his work, his books, Slavery, Cultivators with God, and the Universal Religion of Truth. These are the very important, all these three books I read, but these are very important pioneer work. If you want to understand Ambedkar, you have to read Buddha, you have to read Babasaheb, you have to read Buddha, you have to read Mahatma Jyotirao Phule. If you don't read them, then you will not understand Ambedkar. And that is what it is a reality. Because all his writing and speeches of Babasaheb, he deliberately incorporated their thoughts, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's thought and Buddha's thoughts. Almost now we are talking about the women's emancipation. And in that context also, I'm telling, even Buddha was pro-women liberation. Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, you know that all over his life, he and his wife, Savitribai Phule, they both really worked hard till their death. And their death was also kind of very painful when you read them. So all these forefathers, they worked for the women's emancipations, from about their education, about their freedom, about the choosing their partners. Even I always mention whenever I give lecture to my students, I always mention Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's that his work, education work, anyone can do. Now also people are doing a lot more educational work. But the mindset that fellow was carrying during the time of 18th century, that even now, if you see any woman, we always linked her character. Okay? But during that time also, he was so open that even if you are not married, or if you are married, or if you are a widow, or whatever the status of your marital status, or whatever the status of yours, of mostly the girls or women, he declared that any woman can come in his house and give a delivery, okay? And he and his wife will do that delivery, and they can keep their child, or this Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Savitribai Phule, they were ready to keep their child, and they said that you can go and lead your life. So that was the mentality. Now also, if you see any man, and if you see any woman, and if you say that I want a child before marriage, or I don't want marriage, and without marriage I want to have a child, still you will get a lot more condemnation. You will assassinate, your character will be assassinated. But at that time, he was so open that motherhood is a different status and your marital status is a different status. So that kind of wisdom, or that kind of acceptance as an individual, or the conceptual clarity we're having, and acceptance. So because that time the women were getting married at a very young age, maybe 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, or 12 years. And most of the time it was happening that their husbands were of more elderly than these girls. And most of the time they used to get died, or maybe some kind of rape, or some kind of with lot more other kind of love, kind of such kind of animations they used to give, and then women or girl used to trap in that condition. But with all this kind of understanding the scenario, he started such kind of activity for women who can openly come and can live in his house. That is what I wanted to connect these three people in one kind of philosophical attachment, like how the liberation they have started and how the Dr. Ambedkar carried this legacy. Okay. Another things I want to start here, the preamble. Why I want to start the preamble here, that I will say after I recite the preamble. So here in the preamble, when we say, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens. There are four pillars, he said: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. So justice of what? Social, economic, and political justice. That's what preamble says. Liberty of what? Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all. Fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and the integrity of the nation. So these are the main pillars of our constitution, and it has in our preamble. So these, when we say Dr. Ambedkar, he said that these things he has not borrowed from any other philosophical or any other kind of Western philosophical thought, but these ideas he has borrowed from his master, the Buddha. And that's what I told. If you want to understand Babasaheb, you have to understand Buddha, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, and all the forefathers who fought for reclamation of human personality. And these all forefathers were so much into the societal reconstruction. That's what I use mostly this term. Mostly people use the social development or social growth or social upliftment, but I always use the word social reconstruction. Okay. So with this talk, or with this introduction, I'm just starting my talk here. So we know that very kind of known statement, what wherever we see Dr. Ambedkar in relation with women's empowerment or emancipation of women, we always see this two sentences. What are these two sentences? I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved. What does it mean? It means that if whatever the woman's success, that much your community, you can consider that your community has got the progress. Okay. So this statement he has used when there was a conference, that was All India Depressed Class Women's Conference, which was held in Nagpur on July 20th, 1942. Okay. In that conference, with the help, and that's what, like, again here, before starting this about this conference, I'm just giving a very brief idea about whenever Dr. Ambedkar held some conferences, there were always a kind of mixture of all the genders, male and females. Now we are talking about the transgender, but that time mostly the two genders were considered. That was a male and female, and it was really a kind of happiness, or it was always a kind of good state that most of his conferences or most of his talks or public speeches, women were very active, and their role or their involvement or their participation were much high than the male. And that's what it is there in his writing and speeches. I will go, even I have given a lot more different segments on women's issues where we'll go further. So in that conference, majority of the women were present, okay, and they were very in active role, and they were leading the conference. And in that conference, they passed 8 resolutions. What were the 8 resolutions? The first resolution was support to all India depressed class conferences, okay, for women. That's what it was specifically mentioned for women. And the second resolution was the divorce law. Like in Manu, you know, almost all know Manu. If you read Manu, in that during the Manu time, women were not having that identity how we have now, or how it was there during the first times. And even in his writing and speeches, how the fall of how the fall of women happened in the India, Buddhist or the Hindu women have falls of happen in India. So during before Manu, it has mentioned that women were having a kind of equal status, and they were enjoying the status of how the men were enjoying. And even in his writing and speeches only, it has mentioned that there are a lot more women who were very intellectual, like Sulpa or Gargi or Maitri, such names he has mentioned. And when Manusmriti started here in India, so that time the downfall of women have started, and it has mentioned in the Manusmriti that women doesn't have any right. They cannot live alone. Somebody has to be male. That is what the male. Somebody has to be with her. She doesn't have any right on her life. Everything is depend on her father or her son or her husband, and she should be protected, or she should be covered, or she should be observed by these male members. But during this conference, they passed the resolution that women also has right or can take a divorce. That was the divorce law. Then resolution 3, polygamy, as we see that now because of the constitution, such marriages we don't promote, but before constitution, there was a polygamy where men can carry 2-3 wives. So here the resolution was 3, that was a polygamy. Resolution 4 was economic condition. This where my heart goes. I have a YouTube channel. You can go and access my YouTube channel. There are a lot more talks I have given on why there is an importance of economic empowerment of women in the patriarchal system. So the resolution 4 was economic condition, and Dr. Ambedkar was very much argumentative on the economic condition of the women. He argued that why women's condition is so pathetic in India, because they don't have right in their hereditary or in the property rights, maybe from father's side or maybe from husband's side, and therefore economic empowerment. So resolution 4 was the economic condition. Okay, then the resolution 5 was education. Education, as I started with Mahatma Jyotira Phule, who was champion or who was initiated, we call him as the first or father of social revolution in India. So education was and will be very basic and very important if you talk about women empowerment or women emancipation. So that was the 5th resolution was education. Then resolution 6, law for appointing lady supervisors in mills. That's where the work condition, we can focus on work condition. Here, during that time, mostly women were not in the workplaces, and therefore the supervisors were most of the time, almost 100% were male. And because of that, a lot more women were facing a lot more harassments. Like my study is on sanitation workers, and we wrote one paper on intersectionality of caste, gender, and occupation. In that paper, I have mentioned that how the women's condition become very pathetic or very problematic when there is always a male supervisor. Okay, so here, therefore, the resolution 6 during that time, 1942, that law for appointing lady supervisor in male, so that was a resolution passed. The resolution 7, the representation of depressed classes female in legislation. So he wanted that, and it's always there that if you have a boss, or if you have such kind of gender or class or caste kind of same categories there, so you are passing the laws or raising the voice for these people will be very easy. So therefore, he wanted the representation of depressed class females in legislation. But he was very upset. I will tell in the down why he was upset. I will when I will talk about the Hindu Code Bill, that time I will mention why he was upset with the women who were there in the legislature or who were there in the parliament. That I will elaborate when I will come down. Then the resolution 8, All India Depressed Classes Women's Federation. So here I want to mention that Dr. Ambedkar was very much adamant or very much promoter of the organizations. He always told that be unite, always unite. Organization was his main focus wherever he went for any public talk or in his writings, in the context of women or in the context of deprived sections of the people. He always very adamant that you should have organization, because if you have organization, you have a combined voices. Alone, you cannot do anything. And organization only can change the society. Organization only can pressure the people who are above you. And therefore, he wanted, that was the 8th resolution, that All India Depressed Classes Women's Federation. Okay, so that was his starting of this thing. Then we all know that Ambedkar was a very strong believer of women's organization, the leadership. He wanted a leadership from all sections of the people. Maybe it is from women or from deprived sections. So here, in all areas, social activities, or maybe legislature, or maybe the political, or maybe the religious kind of sphere, all he wanted the women's contribution and their leadership to be there in that other different sections. So here he was having different as I said that he was a good public speaker. At the same time, he used to write, and there are 21 volumes of his writing and speeches. He was also having the 2 papers, that was a Muknaik and Bahishkrit Bharat, which is he has kept 1 column exclusively for women's related issues, where maybe it is about discrimination, maybe it is about empowerment, and that's what this paper has published in Bahishkrit Bharat. So there are a lot more kind of columns, or we can see in this Muknaik and Bahishkrit Bharat. So he was, as we always know, that he is the first law minister of post-independence India. And during this, I purposely kept Hindu Code Bill down. So in that, I will talk about the adult franchise and the legal voting rights for women and several marginalized groups. So here I have listed out some of the categories where he talked about women's empowerment or women's emancipation, and through what a woman can be empowered or emancipation can happen. So first foremost is Dr. Ambedkar on education. So as I mentioned, that basic and foremost thing is education. Without education, you cannot do anything. As we know, he is the most educated person in this world, and mostly the India, and he's one of the finest brain one can see. And therefore, almost his all statues and in the Columbia University or London School of Economics, wherever were his writings, Caste in India. These papers have kept for study purpose. So he was insisting women that get education, and he was also insisting women to concentrate on your daughter's education. What he said that education is equally important for both the sexes or both the gender. Maybe it is a male and female, but it is more important for women because women can change the course of your family, women can change the course of your community. And therefore, he was very much kind of insisting the women's education. Another what, and that's what here I given a term to that kind of cultural capital. And that's what the cultural capital, and that's what all his speeches, when we'll talk about, even he mentioned all small things, what to wear, how to dress up, how to wear the sari, everything is mentioned. And that's what it comes under your cultural capital. And that's what Buddha also having the same kind of deliberation when he was giving the preachers. So what he said that you imbibe or instill the ambitions, lot more ambitions in your children, and tell them that one day you will be a great person. That's what the word he used, that you are destined to become a good, great person. So that's what he mentioned, or he told women to have such kind of deliberation, to have such kind of talk with your children and inculcate a lot more ambitions and tell them that one day you will be a great person. Another category I have here listed, that is Dr. Ambedkar on work. So as already we have mentioned in the resolution which he passed, that they wanted female supervisor in the mills. So in the work condition, the Bonus Act, maternity leave, creches for children, the standardized hours, minimum wages act, all these things he has mentioned, like maternity leave. It's very important. Now we all women avail the maternity leave. It's by the product from Dr. Ambedkar. The creches for their children, this is very important. And now also we don't see in most of the private and government offices. And it is very important because when both and mother and father, they go out for work, then who will take care of children? And that's what I don't know why our government is not focusing on the development of children. That is very important. Like what I have seen, a lot more women here in my complexes also, they just left their job, and they are from IM, they are from IITs, some have returned from US, and they just left their job and sitting at home just to take care of children. So how much educate, and that's what in one article, one survey came that India has the highest educated mothers, housewives. Highest educated housewives here in India we have. So creches for their children is very important. And we should not ignore children. Why? Because if you ignore children, you will miss the whole generation. And therefore, bringing the children in the right direction with the right emotional, mental, cultural environment is very important. If you don't see that, or if you don't give concentration, your whole generation will collapse. Therefore, and this was very important, and most, I think our government should focus on the creches for, and good creches for children, where women can easily work and they can be outside for their home, even without thinking about their children, if they have creches for their children. And standardized hours, because before we were not having such kind of, now we have 8 hours standard, and 8 hours working hours, but before that it was not there. So this standardized working hours, it has come from him. And then the Minimum Wages Act, still now, see, Minimum Wages Act, it again, it's a very problematic and critical kind of thing. And we always should be critical, and we always should ask why. That is also, I will end my talk with this intellectual, why we intellectual should interfere in the policy making. We should interfere in the public debate. We should interfere in the writings. That what I will, no, from his quote only, I will end this talk. Okay. So Minimum Wages Act, here in at this time also in the contemporary India also, if you say that Minimum Wages Act, so Minimum Wages Act we see in the organized sector, but in unorganized sector we don't see the Minimum Wages Act. There also there is a lot more kind of differences or disparity, where male get good or higher wages and women get less wages. But again the contract system has created a lot more problems when we talk about the Minimum Wages Act. So here, that's what Ambedkar worked on, the Ambedkar and the work condition of women. So here, another, I have given dimension of Dr. Ambedkar and freedom of women. Okay. So Dr. Ambedkar and freedom of women, what he said that in society, there are two entities. One is male and another is female, and nobody is superior. Nobody is superior to any other. Okay. Everybody is equal, and everybody has the freedom to live their life. Either maybe choices of your jobs or choices of your partner, that is whole, it's all depend on the person choice. Maybe it is a female or maybe it is a male. Okay, so therefore he was very much kind of promoting or he was in a favor of the freedom of women. Maybe it is in a speech, or maybe freedom of, and that's what Article 14, or where we see that anywhere we can take our jobs, wherever we can go in the Constitution, wherever we can settle, and everything, its whole philosophy comes under in this Constitution. Another is Dr. Ambedkar on political participation of women. As already we have mentioned in the resolution in 1942, where in that conference that political participation of women was very important. As I said before, that if you have the same gender, or if you have same caste, or if you have same class kind of category, you may find some kind of sympathies or some kind of similarity, and you may go in a favor of that particular caste, class, or maybe gender kind of thing. And therefore, he said that political participation of women is equally important, and a lot more women, if you go in the politics, that much kind of gender sensitive or the gender neutrality kind of politics you will see in the society. Another is Dr. Ambedkar on financial independence. That is one of the most favorite and first area of my interest, financial independence. As we live in the patriarchal system where already women's condition is so derogatory, where women's always considered as a secondary position in the society or maybe in the family. But if you have a financial stability, or if you are financially capable enough to take care of yourself, you may go against the will of your family, or against the customs of your norms of your kind of society, and they can have such kind of maybe thought, okay, I have my own house, or I have my own money, I may can lead my own life, and therefore she might not take such kind of compulsory decisions. So financial independence is very important in the patriarchal system, to stand by your own thought, to stand by your own decision. Another is, and therefore he in the Constitution or in the Code Bill, Dr. Ambedkar given a right for either father's or husband's property. that is inheritance of properties. They can carry the inheritance of property. And when I was reading Dr. Ambedkar, so that time he was very adamant, but in the I will talk in the like what happened and how these political people troubled him when he wanted to this Hindu code will become to make it into a law, but they did not allow him to do that. So financial independence, in that he wanted that mother's property should go to her daughter, but with all their oppositions, she could not do. And I will discuss here the Hindu code bill down. So here, Dr. Ambedkar's on women's participation in the social reconstruction. Okay, so here social reconstruction, and when I was reading Dr. Ambedkar in the perspective of women, so I found out there are two areas he parallelly or maybe having the two separate of dialogues with two kind of women. One is the women who were or who are from deprived section, that is what SCs, OBCs, and converted minorities, and the women who are from upper caste, okay, maybe Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, these women. But he never discriminated against any kind of woman, like you are from upper caste and you are from low caste, so you are belongs to me. You are from upper caste, so you are not belong to me, and you have already tortured us so much, our fellow peoples, and therefore I will not take care of. It was nothing like that. He's like how the Buddha, how the Mahatma Jyotira Phule, like when he started, Mahatma Jyotira Phule, when he started first school, all his 5 school students were Brahmins. So they never discriminated when it was in the matter of women or girls, because they were knowing that in a patriarchal condition, their position is already complicated. Because in Manu, it has written that dhor means what we can, cattles, okay, dhor, pashu, that is what. Dhor, pashu, and nari. So nari, that is nari in respect of whatever, whether you are from Brahman caste or whether you are from lower caste, whatever, you are just meant for for beating or for just as a slave or to abuse you. Such kind of Manusmriti it has written. So when we talk about the social reconstruction, so what are the women's participation, or how Dr. Ambedkar emphasizing on women's participation in the social reconstruction. So in 27th December 1927 in Mahad conference. Okay, so in that Mahad conference, it has very small things, and very small things he has elaborated. As I said, what to wear, how to wear. Even he said that take out all the this nakli ornaments and then wear only one, that is gold, or if you don't have gold, don't wear that. So small things. Sari also, they said that you change the style of your sari, make the wear sari where you will wear how the upper caste women they wear. So what he was very much minutely observing, or he wanted at least this conference, in that conference, majority of the women were from deprived section, and therefore he was very much adamant, or he was very much focusing on their culture. That's what I said, that cultural capital. He wanted to change the culture, and therefore he took a Buddhism. And therefore he converted into Buddhism, because he knew that if you want a cultural revolution in India, Buddhism only, or Buddhism only can make the changes in this world, or in this India. So here he said that how in house, okay, husband and wife take joint decisions whenever whatever problems comes, or if you want to solve any house problem. The same way, male and female take the equal jointly discussion or debate, or take part in solving the social problem. That's what he was relating, your house and your, and that everywhere, whatever talk you see, whatever writing you see, always his direct connection was social upliftment, whether it is women, whether it is deprived section people, or whether it is any culture. That's what I told. Why he converted into Buddhism, because he wanted to make a social revolution, a cultural revolution in the society. And he knew that with that only people will change, because Buddhism changed the mindset of the people, your behavior. And that's what. Then he said that if a man alone take the responsibility of changing the society, it will take more time, or it may happen that it may not happen. The social change may not happen. But if women comes and take the charge of social reconstruction or social change, there are more chances that the change happen very fast. And therefore he insisted, or he gave a responsibility on the woman. You lead social change or social participation, and be active member than your male counterpart. So, and that's what he said, the success will happen quickly if women take a very active role in the social change. So task of eradication, he said that that's what it has specifically has mentioned. And any women who are from deprived section, and if you listen him carefully, you will charge like anything. What he said, you gave us a birth, okay? You are aware that other people treat us worse than animals. Even our shadows are not permitted. Then why you gave birth to us? That was his question to this woman. And that's what question to me also. Then why you gave birth to us when you were knowing that this condition is not favorable for these men, and they are treating men like animal, and even they are not even allowing their shadows. Then why you gave us a birth? That's what his question to this woman. Then what difference between children? Then he asked them, what difference between the children born to touchable caste women and born to you? Then he asked another question. You only think that what is the difference between the child born from touchable woman and the child born from you? Then he again go further and says that whatever morality or whatever loyalty you have for your husband is also available in the Brahmin woman. The same morality or the same loyalty also is there in you. But he said that whatever courage and daring is in you, that is may not be there in Brahmin woman. That is what he has mentioned. So that's what he wanted. He said that you have a lot more courage, you have a lot more daring, and then why, with all this, why you are just keeping quiet, and why you are submissive in the society, why you are not charging, why you are not taking active part in the social change, why you don't feel angry that my people are in that such a pathetic condition where people don't allow them to touch, don't allow their shadow. That's what lot more questions he asked to these women. You are the responsible than man, what he said. You are the responsible than man because you gave us a birth, he said. And if we ask such question to you, if you ask such question to you, either you will stop giving birth to us, or you will revolt against this system. So he gave only two options to this downtrodden woman. If you really are aware, or if you really want your children to be treated as a human, then you have only two options. One is either you stop giving us a birth, or revolt against this system. Okay, then Then again, he further goes and says that second, stop, like that's what I said, stop wearing dirty clothes, low cost ornaments, and don't live life where people will know that you are from lower caste. So he mentioned that how to live. That's what the cultural capital, he was emphasizing cultural capital. Don't wear dirty clothes, good or wear the low cost ornament. Uh, don't wear the low cost ornament. If you don't have that, then wear only the gold. If you don't have that also, don't wear anything, but live in a decent dressing and decent lifestyle. So here, then again, because in the old age time, not because they were not having money, they were having, even some of the local people, they were having the money to purchase clothes, to purchase food. If you see his one film, that is it was on Dr. Ambedkar, and he or his I think uh, uh, mother, this Marcy, wanted to, I think I forgot somebody, but that incident I do remember, that they go for purchasing the clothes, and then the shopkeeper, he don't give the new clothes as it is from the shop. So what he does, he go in the down you go down and put water in the mud, and then he put the cloth in that mud, make the dirty, and then leave. So that was the condition. So here it is there in the Manusmriti that downtrodden people, they are not allowed to wear a good clothes, they are not allowed to wear a good food. And the education is so definitely is far from them. So basic necessity like food, water, and shelter, these are the three basic necessity that was also not allowing to the in the Manusmriti to the lower caste people, though they were capable to buy clothes, though they were capable to buy food, but they were not, and therefore it was compulsory for them that they have to take the dead animals skin or dead animals and eat. In now also in my village also such condition or such customs are there, where monks, they eat dead animals. This is, we don't, like, still we are in a digital world and we say that we are supreme now and we have changed. Nothing has changed. If you go in the rural area, nothing has changed. Everything is same. In my house, in my village, now also there is a caste-based kind of segregation, where OBCs lives, where in main area where Brahmins live, and the outer side where we call it as Lendi, where it is where all the people, they go for shit. So that side, Maharwada, you will see. So nothing has changed. Only in the urban area, you will also find some kind of segregation on the basis of your economy and basis of your caste. So here, what he said, he said that don't eat dead animals and wear good clothes, good and clean clothes, and stop doing your house and stop your husband to bringing the dead animals at home. So what he said, you are the in charge of your family, you are the in charge of your house. You should know what to bring, what not to bring, and you should decide what to feed, what not to feed, and everything is there in his writing and speech. Then the third thing, what he said, that give education to your daughters as well. As I already mentioned, that it is whether it is a male or female, but he was also very much strong promoter of giving education to daughters. And knowledge and education are not meant only for men, but it has to be given equally to women. And improve your future generation. That's what as I said, that we have to really focus on our child's upbringing. So what he said, if you want to improve your future generation, you must give education to your daughters. And Babasaheb made sure that these women will go home by, and that's what night he gave this such talk to this woman, and then he made sure he told them that tomorrow if you go out go for your home, before that you meet me and show me that you have changed your uh, uh, changes, you show me your changes. Maybe it is ornament, or maybe it is your sari style. And it was really like, I felt very touching when he was having such small approaches or small changes want to be happen in front of him. Otherwise, and that's what the leaders make sure that everything goes properly. And that's what the leaders' qualities. And that's what Babasaheb said, that before going to home, show me the changes in themselves. And then he advised, and then even he distributed 50 paisa to purchase bangles and blouses to this woman. And this speech was so impacted on the women that they removed their ornaments, and which was revealing their identity as a low caste. They really throw their ornaments. And one more thing happened, that that Mahad Municipal Incorporation, the scavengers, they resigned their jobs. So it was so impactful. Like, that's what in almost all speeches or all public speeches, whatever, even if we say don't do, almost all the gatherings were blind follower of Dr. Ambedkar. If we say don't do, means nobody will do. That was it has showed in this conference. Then where I will focus on Dr. Ambedkar and marriage. It's very important. And now also in India, marriages happen as per your caste status. You see in the any matrimony. Now you have a online matrimony. Even I saw that IIM and IITs, they have their own matrimony. They have started. I don't know what kind of things they do. So here, so he said that he advised not to marry at the young age. So marriage is a liability. He said that marriage is a liability. Unless you're financially strong, do not get married. Okay. And producing more children is a crime. And give better life to your children than you had. Okay. He advised women, refuse to be a slave to your husband and claim you are a friend and equal to him. That is very important. Now also, if you see in any marriage system, or even in the live-in relationship system, or any kind of boyfriend and girlfriend system, I always see that male dominate women. Maybe it is dressing style, or to whom to talk, or where to go, all these things like that. Like this, he is a reporter. That everything she has to report to him. But he was so open that treat your husband as equal and friend. That's what he has given advice to women, that you consider equal and friend to your husband. Then Dr. Ambedkar on girl-child upbringing. So that is another is a socialization, which is very favorite topic to me. Whenever I teach sociology, that is socialization makes a lot more changes in your life. So socialization happens from your birth to till you die. There are a lot more other ways for your socialization. So here, what he said, Dr. Ambedkar on girl-child upbringing, what he said, that parents should make sure that they will give better life, okay, than what they had in their childhood. Give equal, rather more education. He was emphasizing give more education to your girl child and give her freedom to take her decision and lead her life on her own terms. Do not involve your children in your old traditional jobs, like how mostly sanitation workers. And that's what, when I was studying my this sanitation workers topic, that time I realized that most of the sanitation workers family, they don't know how many generations they have been involved in this sanitation traditional work. Like how, if you ask any Brahmin, how many generations these people are taking education or enjoying the resources. Maybe it is a property, maybe it is a land, maybe it is a education, maybe it is a status. These are the resources, these are the things. The same way, if you go any sanitation or scavenger family, they don't know how many generations they have been involved in this occupation. I can give one incident when I was collecting data in Tamil Nadu. So I think this was, I will not go into detail, I will just give a brief idea. So he was, I think, 10-year-old boy, and he already saw his grandmother's death, grandfather's death. Then his grandmother took a charge of this occupation. She also died. Then his father took a charge or took this occupation. He also died. Then now his mother is doing this work. So almost 3 generations. In the 10 years, he saw the 3 deaths because of this occupation. So like that, and that is a reality. I'm not exaggerating. This is a reality at the ground, that people don't know how many generations they are carrying this occupation. So what he was very much clear, that do not involve your children in your traditional occupation. Though maybe you may have joined this occupation because of any compulsion, maybe economic compulsion, maybe your caste compulsion, but make sure that your next generation, your children, should not carry the same occupation what you have now at present. So, and give a good education and go on a higher position. As I already said, that inbuilt high ambition in your children, and tell them that you will be a great person one day. So same thing he said, that make sure that your children will get a good education and go in a higher position. And then another is Dr. Ambedkar on women's participation in religious prayer. So here it's very problematic and complicated when we talk about religion and women. Very complicated and very problematic. Why? Because now also in Hindu custom, when you have menses, you are not allowed to go into this temple. And this is reality. Now also in I am now a professor here in Women's University, and there are a lot more discussions openly we do. And this is a reality. Even in urban, this is a metropolitan city where I live in Mumbai. So this is a reality. In some houses, a woman has to sit when they have a menstruation. They have to sit aside, and their whole, they get a different treatment. So then that's what the religious kind of thing. But he was very strong promoter of taking a part, women taking a part in the religion. And that's what the religious revolution, or entering into the women entering into the religious sphere, started by Buddha. He was the first person, or he was the first male, I can say. He was the first male who recognized, and what the Buddha says, that everybody has the equal potential, everybody has the equal capability, whether across your gender, across your caste, across your creed, everybody has the potential to become a Buddha. And that's what his humbleness is. And that was his understood the capacities and capabilities of every individual carries. Okay, so what Buddha said, everybody has the potential and capability to become a Buddha, as what Buddha became a Buddha. He didn't do any tantra, bintra, or what is the superficial, or any black magic or something. He was a man. He really worked hard on his self. And he achieved that enlightenment. He achieved that nibbana, where this is the highest acclamation of human existence. What is the example of Buddha? And because Babasaheb was a follower of Buddha, as I said, you cannot understand Babasaheb without understanding Buddha and Phule. If you want to understand Babasaheb, you have to understand Buddha, you have to understand Phule, then only you can understand Babasaheb. And then only you will understand each steps, why he took, why he said like that, why he took such steps. So Buddha was the first person who allowed women to come into the religious education and showed faith, and they can also attain enlightenment like a man. And one more example I will give you. That's not even he allowed women, but during that time, because I come from sanitation education, because my whole MPhil and PhD on sanitation work, and I did a lot more research on sanitation workers. So that time, Sunita was scavenger, okay, during Buddha's time, and he allowed he was the outcast, but Buddha allowed scavenger, that was a Sunita, to come into the religious sphere, and he also attained Nirvana. So he didn't see what caste you have, what gender you have. He allowed every person, because they were strong believer of reclamation of human person. They were strong believer of human personality, and they were knowing that every person has that same capabilities, same if you get that opportunity. So according to Buddha, everyone has the equal potential to become a Buddha, irrespective of caste, creed, gender. And at that time, many women entered into the Sangha and attained Nirvana. Mahamaya, she was a mother of Siddhartha. Siddhartha, after that, he became a Buddha. So we don't call she was a mother of Buddha, but we call she was a mother of Siddhartha. So she was a mother of Siddhartha and Ananda. Ananda was a Buddha's trusted and committed attendant, and one of the 10 principal disciples. So with these two people's and there are a lot more dialogues, okay? Buddha didn't accept, okay, you are coming, come. It's not like that. And in Buddhism, there is always always have a debate. Nothing is very much blind thing. He was always having a lot more debate for anything before taking any decision. So Mahamaya and Ananda's lot more arguments you will find even in Buddha and Dhammas. That is, I think, volume maybe 11. That is another, like, he also gave a concept in Buddha and his Dhamma. He also gave a concept of Dhamma, Sadhamma, and Adhamma. In the Sadhamma, he said that Sadhamma means to break the barriers between man and man. That was the concept of Sadhamma. So the Mahamaya and Siddhartha, they argued, or they had a debate with the Buddha and made and convinced Buddha that why there is a need, and why women can also equally important to enter into the religious sphere. And then Babasaheb narrate one incident, okay, in his writing and speeches, one that is in his rise and fall of Hindu women, and who were responsible for it, question mark. Okay, so he narrate one incident that in Vaishali was a kingdom, and in that Vaishali there was a courtesan who was a beautiful woman. Her name was also Vaishali, because on her name only that this woman got the name Vaishali. So, and she was a courtesan, but like she was a dancer in the kingdom or a king palace. Okay, so Vaishali invited Buddha. Once Vaishali invited Buddha and his bhikkhus for lunch. We can call it lunch, but in Buddhism we call it bhojan dana. Call it bhojan dana, but we can, in a modern term, we can call it lunch. Okay, so Buddha avoided, and at that time he also got an invitation from Lichavi. That was one of the kingdom in that, and then he refused. he denied the invitation which has come from Lichivi, and he went to this dancer. This is Vaishali. And then Lichivi, the king, got very angry that, or he was upset, like how he has insulted. Like he felt that it is an insult. How Buddha can deny or say no to me, my invitation. So why I want to emphasize here or have here more deliberation? See, Buddha never gave any kind of such kind of inferiority or such kind of status image to any person, maybe from caste wise, or maybe the gender wise, and maybe the occupation wise. Here now, and that's when the next topic I have here, Dr. Ambedkar's on women working as a prostitute. That's what I have linked. I want to link here. And in the prostitution also, what was the Dr. Ambedkar's thought, that I will mention down. But here I will just narrate or explain here that. So though she was considered as a dancer and people were not looking her as a respected person or something. So it was like all the lucrative or seducing kind of woman. It was, her image was there in that. Still Buddha went because he wanted to show that every person, irrespective of your occupation, irrespective of your caste, irrespective of your gender, everybody is equal in his eyes. And everybody has the same respect. Everybody, one has to give same respect to each person. And therefore he purposely, or he wanted to give some message in the society that such women also require, or she need respect in man's eye or in society, or she should also require, or she should also need some equal status in the society. And therefore he went to, or he accept the invitation which has come from Vaishali. That's what. Another is when King Prasenjit, when he was visiting Buddha at Sravasti, okay, in the Jetavana garden. So that time the news came that his wife Mallika delivered a daughter. After hearing that news, he got saddened, he got upset, that he felt that, oh, my wife got now daughter, and who will continue my, or he will not get king. We always have that kind of attitude, like male only can run the kingdom. So, and that therefore he was upset. And then after that, what Buddha saw, and he told king not to get upset. A woman shall prove even a better offering than a female. Okay, then a woman child may prove even a better offering than a male. Okay, so Buddha gave a right to knowledge and the right to realize their spiritual potential along with man, equality with women. And there is a theory gatha in the Buddhism where a lot more documentation or songs of the Buddhist sisters are narrations in that theory gatha. Okay. So here, Dr. Ambedkar on prostitution, okay, the women who are in a prostitution. Very nice chapter it has. This, when Kamatupara is a place where majority of the prostitutions happens here in Mumbai. Once what happened, these, it was in 1936, Babasaheb was invited by these prostitutes, all prostitutes, okay. And he said that, and that time for his gathering, 400 to 500 women were there, all prostitutes, 400 to 500 women, prostitutes were there. He said, in his writing, it is there, he said, I'm very happy to see 400 and 500 women are gathered to listen to me. Okay, because see, it's not like that we are in a good house, so we only have the knowledge, or we only know Ambedkar. Is not like that. If you see in the Kamati Torah, or if you see in the prostitute area, majority of the women are from lower caste, SC, ST, OBCs, or minorities, or the northeast kind of side. Why? Why such like that? One reason definitely it is poverty, or one reason it is very open, that economic condition. But at the same, like, that's what I will clearly, specifically, I will mention Dr. K. Jamnadas. Fantastic. He was not a social scientist. He was and I really admire him a lot, because, and he wrote extensively on Devdasi system. And Devdasi, it's a part of, and how the Devdasi has come in India. You can read his book on Devdasi. So K. Jamnadas, Dr. K. Jamnadas was a medical professional doctor, but he was very much inclined writing and social issues. So one of his Devdasi, he wrote that one book. So that is one mention, and another Dr. Ambedkar. So when Dr. Ambedkar went for that gathering, 400 to 500 women were there. So he said that I'm very
Hello.
happy. Uh,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. It would be great if you can finish it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll do that. So that time he said that to this prostitute woman, that you stop this prostitution, because this is a shame to us and to you also. And see the women who are in a poverty, but still they carry the profession where they get some kind of legalization or some kind of status in the society. So I will just small in one sentence, I will just close everything. So therefore, he made told women stop the prostitution. But there are good writing on what he wanted these women to do. And even one thing he said, that if you don't do that, if you don't stop it, then I will take some volunteers and I will take out from this profession. So that's what he's saying to, or that's what he told to these women. Another is family planning. So it is one of the very important when it relate to women's health. So maternity leave, Raghunath Dondo Keshav Karve, he is from Maharashtra, and he was the first person who promoted family planning, who promoted population control, who was he said that men are also equally responsible of parenting and the gender equality, women's right. And even he said that experience sexual and sensual pleasure as much as men. So the Karve, he was the Dhondo Keshav Karve, he was the first person who started a family or birth control clinic in India. So when he was arguing, or when that time society were realized that this person is talking about the sexual education, sex education, and the family control and all these things, that time that government kept him for jail. Dr. Ambedkar took his case, and he fought on behalf of this Raghunath Dondo Keshav Karve. So because he was knowing that how important is family planning for women and their health. Another is this Hindu Code Bill. That's what the Hindu Code Bill, it has introduced in the Constitution Assembly on 11th April 1947. And the bill was given equality and justice to women, equal citizenship to the women, gave right to divorce, inheritance rights, intercaste marriages rights, equal remuneration. Then Hindu Code Bill was also talking about the Uniform Civil Code. It was in advancement of women. And opposition from, there was, as we all know, that a lot more opposition was there from that time, Prime Minister and then President. And then that bill could not pass. And then that bill converted into four kind of acts. That was the Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Marriage Act, and Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act, and Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. Here, I just want to close end this talk here by giving two things, and which has Dr. Ambedkar wanted from the intellectual class. But before that, he was telling that I want the public to realize that I have played no significant part in giving momentum to the new movement and fostering its growth. So he said that he not only don't consider me as a politician, so more consider me as a given a new movement to the society and fostering that its growth. The last is, he said that in every country, the intellectual class is the most influential class, if not the governing class. The intellectual class is the class which can foresee. It is the class which can advise and give lead. In no country does the mass of the people live the life of intelligent thought and action. It is largely imitative and follows the intellectual class. That means he was telling the intellectual class is he gives the force, he leads the society, he leads your country. And therefore, it is on the responsibility of the intellectual class to intervene, to raise, and to contribute, and to initiate. So there is no exaggeration in saying that the entire destiny of the country depends upon its intellectual class. If the intellectual class is honest, independent, uninterested, it can be trusted to take the initiative and give a proper lead when the crisis arrives. So everything, it comes on the intellectual class, where they can lead the society, they can lead the politics, they can lead the country. And I'm stopping here by saying Jai Bhim to all, and thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the lecture. It has been very insightful, the way you trace how we have to associate Buddha, Jyotiba Phule, Ambedkar, while reading them, then the works that Babasaheb Ambedkar has done for the emancipation of women, such as the need for the law to have, women supervisors, as well as the need for education for the women in order to emancipate. And it has been known that how education is very important in the entire Dalit socio-economic condition, how we need the education in order to emancipate ourselves. Apart from that, we also understand how women are more, they are in a lower position because of lack of property ownership rights. And you have very beautifully highlighted all these circumstances and all how we can go about it. And very pertinently, you have also ended the discussion on the need of the educative class, how they can direct the society if they work honestly, if they work in a very proper manner. So I would like to ask the audience if they have any questions, they can write their questions in the chat box, or either they can turn on their mic and ask directly from them. Thank you, ma'am, for such an insightful lecture.
Sorry,
Anyone,
I took
yeah,
more
yeah.
time, sorry.
No, that's fine. People are here still. If you have any problem in asking through mic, you can write your questions in the chat box. The
Okay.
relation that you have drawn, how Babasaheb Ambedkar has talked about the dressing of women, the ornaments that they wear, that if they don't have gold ornament, they shouldn't be wearing them. If they don't have, if they are wearing counterfeit ornament, they shouldn't be doing that. So how that thing is, what are the relevance of that thing? Like, can you explain a bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. That's what I see that in a cultural capital perspective. See, that's what he was comparing when he was telling. He was comparing to the Brahmin women, like how they wear the saris, how they use the ornaments, like they have very decent ornaments, or they wear very properly well saris. Even he himself was though he was he was coming from lower caste background, but still he always used suit and boot and tie and coat. So he was very much kind of emphasizing on what attire you wear. It reflects your personality. It makes you feel like, now I'm wearing a good clothes, I feel good. I will sit properly. I will make myself in a neat and clean. But if I wear dirty clothes, how you feel about yourself? You don't feel good. Is that thing? Do you realize that? Have you realized anything? So when we wear dirty clothes, or when we wear some torn clothes, that time how we feel or how we perceive yourself, and how the society perceive when they see you. But when you wear very nicely, very clean and very properly dressed up, so that how you yourself feel about you, and how the society feel when they see, oh, very nicely dressed up, such kind of thing. So it is always a two-way kind of thing about yourself, feeling about yourself, and how the society consider you when you use that. And that's what, like, he wanted to have such kind of cultural changes in you or in your family. And therefore, he always said that you be in a good dressed.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for the answer. So I think there are two questions in the chat box. So in the first question, Karuna is asking to give more details on women participation in social movement, and there is another one we can delve into that after this.
Okay. So social participation, we have to, as he wanted, you should be attend conferences, but not only attend conferences, but you write, you talk, you give speeches, and you go in the society and tell the society what is good and how, and you have to take part in the gender and caste kind of oppressed and caste differences and gender differences thing. So he wanted that to take lead. Women should take lead in that. Now also, if you see in the parliament or in the social kind of thing, even in the Facebook, you will see that lot more on the occasion of Dr. Ambedkar, lot more male speakers only you will see. Hardly one or two speakers you will see are from female background. So therefore, you have to take a charge, you have to take initiative, and you have to take lead in the social dialogue or in the social construction.
Yeah. So the second question is from Kanad Jamulkar. He's a master's student at IIT Gandhinagar. So he's asking, what are the questions of Dalit women and how are they different from upper caste women? And is there a need to separate these two categories in the Indian context?
Okay. So when during Dr. Ambedkar time, definitely there was a lot more differences between these two, lower caste women and the upper caste women, because lower caste women were always open to the public, and therefore a lot more rape cases also now also you see. Or these women were, because of their caste, because of their economic condition or geographical kind of thing, they were more exposed to the society. And the more you depressed or more you kind of lower, the more you should be take charge of your life or take lead in the society. So at the time of Dr. Ambedkar, there was clear-cut demarcation, or there were clear-cut differences you could see in their education status, in their living status, in their economic status, in their atrocities, in all areas. And therefore, wherever Dr. Ambedkar went to the lower caste community, or any conferences where lower caste women were having, so he was giving lot more kind of speeches where they will realize their inner potential, or they will make that, yes, we also have something in us and we also can make changes in themselves and in the society. As the upper caste women, they already have the social standing, they already have a social recognition, or they already have some kind of backup from their family or from the society. Therefore, they're always in some kind of privileged condition. And therefore, even now also, if you see in any higher position, maybe in occupation or maybe in the politics, upper caste women are they have a larger number than the lower caste women. Therefore, their deliberations or their problems are definitely even now also different, and the strategies to solve their problems or to make them realize what their existence and their contribution in the society and in themselves, definitely we have to have a different strategies both of.
Thank you, ma'am, for the answer. So this question of Dalit women and upper caste women has been a very relevant theme in the current gender studies debate. So I think there are no more questions for now. So I would like to wrap up the session. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming here, coming and giving the lecture. And we look forward to having you in person at IIT Gandhinagar at any time in future. It would be a great thing to have you here. So
I hope I give justice to the topic.
Yeah, well, surely you have covered the entire thing very comprehensively. It has been very tremendous. So for now, I will just request the participants to please turn on their camera so that we can have a screenshot of the moment, and then we will end the meeting.
My student also, they don't turn on the camera. Okay.
Okay, then that's fine. Okay.
Okay, yeah, somebody, I think slowly they are just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. It was a very good experience listening to you. And
Thank you.
Jai Bhim and happy Ambedkar Jayanti to everyone present here.